All right, today we're tackling one of the biggest challenges any company faces, innovation. And we're going to look at it through a really cool framework called the Innovation Pentathlon.
So, let's just get right to it. Why do most corporate innovations fail? I mean, you've seen it, right? A company announces some brilliant new idea with a huge press conference, and then, poof, a year later, it's just gone. Why does that happen over and over again?
Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. It's because we've been thinking about innovation all wrong. We treat it like it's a single sprint, a 100-meter dash, but it's not. It's way more like a multi-event competition, like a pentathlon.
And that number, 5, is super important, because to win, you can't just be great at one thing. Think about it. In a real pentathlon, being a world-class sprinter is awesome, but it's not going to help you one bit if you can't clear the hurdles or throw the javelin. You have to be good at all of it.
And that's what brings us to the core idea for today, the Innovation Pentathlon framework. Basically, it's a model that lays out how to master all 5 of those critical events in the race for innovation. It's like a roadmap for the whole competition. So if you look at the process, most companies are pretty familiar with these first 4 steps. You come up with a strategy, then you generate a bunch of ideas, you figure out which ones are best, prioritization, and then you implement them. Seems simple enough, right?
But here's the big twist. This is the part that so many companies completely miss. Those 4 events, they're just the track. They're the structure of the race, sure, but they're absolutely useless without the most important part, the athlete. And don't worry, we're going to talk about who that athlete is in just a bit.
Okay, so let's break down that track. We'll start with event number 1, setting the innovation strategy. This is all about charting your course for victory.
I mean, think about it. Before you even start running, you've got to decide which race you're even in, and, this is key, why you're running it. We're not talking about vague mission statements here. We're talking about making clear, concrete choices about where you're headed.
So a really solid strategy has to answer some tough questions. Like, are we just trying to make small tweaks to what we already have? Or are we swinging for the fences with a radical breakthrough? Where are we going to invest our money and time? Getting these answers right is what makes sure your entire team is running in the same direction.
All right, once you've got your course set, it's time for Event 2, generating a flood of ideas. This is where you fuel the innovation engine.
And the goal here is all about volume and variety. You're not trying to find that one perfect golden idea. Not yet, anyway. What you're really doing is creating this huge, rich pool of possibilities to pull from later. Seriously, at this stage, it's all about quantity over quality.
And where do these ideas come from? Literally everywhere. They should come from everywhere. We're talking formal brainstorming sessions, deep research projects, but also just employee suggestion boxes or straight from your customers. The wider you cast that net, the better the odds you'll find something truly game-changing.
Okay, so you've got a strategy. You've got a flood of amazing ideas. Now comes what is, for a lot of people, the hardest part of all. Event 3, choosing the winning ideas. This is about separating the signal from the noise.
And this is a huge challenge, right? You've got this sea of great ideas, dozens, maybe even hundreds of them, and they all sound pretty good. So how in the world do you pick the real winners? The answer is you do it with a disciplined process. You can't just go with your gut. You have to evaluate every single idea against a clear set of criteria. Things like, can we actually build this? Is there a real market for it? And, most importantly, does this actually fit with the strategy we set back in Event 1? This is what keeps your choices objective instead of just emotional.
So, you've picked a winner. Now we're at the final event on the track itself, Event 4, taking that idea and turning it into reality. This is all about crossing the finish line.
This is it. This is where the talking stops and the real work begins. It's that tough, painstaking process of turning a concept that lives on a PowerPoint slide into a real, tangible thing, a product, a service, that a customer can actually hold or use.
And make no mistake, this stage isn't just one simple action. It's a whole series of hurdles. You've got to allocate the resources, build the right partnerships, get the right tech and talent, all while managing a super complex project to launch. So many great ideas die right here, when the finish line is literally in sight. Okay, so that covers the 4 events on the track: strategy, ideas, prioritization, and implementation. But remember what I said earlier about the athlete? The missing piece? Well, this is it. This is the 5th, and honestly, the most important event of all. It's the foundation, the people who power the innovation.
And this, right here, is the absolute heart of the entire framework.
I mean, you can have the best strategy in the world, the most brilliant ideas imaginable, but they are completely worthless if your people aren't motivated, if they don't have the right skills, or if the organization itself doesn't have their back.
So what does building this foundation look like? It means you're actively investing in your people. You're training them. You're recruiting creative talent. And maybe most important of all, you're building a culture where it is safe to experiment. And yes, even to fail. It's about creating systems that actually encourage people to work together, not just stay in their own little silos. And that brings us right back to the beginning, full circle. See, it's not enough to be good at just one of these 5 things. A brilliant strategy is totally useless without a motivated team, and a fantastic team is completely lost without a clear strategy. They all have to work together. They're all connected.
You know, the source material for this framework puts it perfectly. It says, neglecting any one of these can cause innovation efforts to fail. And that's such a powerful reminder, right? In this whole competition, you're only as strong as your weakest event. If you neglect even one area, the whole thing can come crashing down.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought, something to really think about for your own company. As you look at these 5 events, strategy, ideas, prioritization, implementation, and the big one, people, which one is your organization's weakest link? Because whatever the answer is, that's exactly where the real work needs to begin.